Okay, so this is continuing Rav Daniel Frisch's discourse on anger, which is in the Matok Mitvash. So in another video, we took care of the introduction to this. So it says here, discourse on the trait of a tzaddik, being difficult to anger and easy to mollify. Here will be explained that there is an allusion to the prohibition of anger in the Torah, and that one of the methods of the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, is to trap a person gradually until he ends up falling completely into his trap, God forbid. So Rabbi Elazar said, there shall be no strange God in you, meaning that you should not be easy to anger, for he who is angry is likened to one who worships false gods, as Rabbi Akiva said in Shabbat 105b, such is the path of the Yetzer Hara. Today he tells you, do this, and tomorrow he tells you to worship idols, and the person goes and worships them. Therefore, if you listen to your Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, and are easy to anger, you will find yourself in the category of a transgression causes more transgressions. So one mitzvah leads to another mitzvah. One transgression leads to another transgression. This is Perkei Avot 4:2. So a transgression causes more transgressions until you will listen to him and transgress even greater sins, God forbid. So Rabbi Akiva would say the anger of a Talmid Chacham, a Torah scholar, or upon the wicked, the anger of a Talmid Chacham upon the wicked, when he sees them transgress sins, is the greatest and most important of all other mitzvot. What is this referring to? When he is angered by the things that they do against the Holy One, blessed be he, for the Torah says that there is no wisdom nor understanding nor counsel against God. This means that when it comes to the wicked who act against the will of God, there is no need to avoid being angry at them. But in other matters, which are not for the sake of heaven, it is forbidden to be angry. So there are others, too, towards who a Talmid Chacham is permitted to show anger, such as in the case of a rabbi towards a student, so that the latter will have respect and awe. It is similarly permitted for him to display anger at the rest of the nation, so that his awe will be upon them for the sake of heaven, meaning for the honor of the Torah. It is also permissible for a rabbi to be angry. However, for all other people it is forbidden to be angry, since their anger is not due to the fear of heaven, rather it is for their own honor. Okay, Rabbi Shimon said, the best trait of a tzaddik is that he is difficult to arouse in anger, and if he is occasionally angered, he is easy to mollify, immediately returning to the pleasant state, as in taught in Perkei Avot 5:14. This is the greatest and most important trait of all the four main character traits, and the Torah demonstrates this in the verse, quote, these are the generations of Noach, meaning that a person should be calm, or Noach, in his temperament, calm in his speech, calm in his deeds, and one who does this is a righteous man. So discourse on how anger characterizes a person. Here will be explained, the one who guards his soul to restrain his anger is called a servant of God and is a complete person. It may be evident that a person has all these three levels of soul, nefesh, ruach, neshama, because he learns Torah and is engaged in the service of God and in the performance of mitzvot, which are signs that a person has a nefesh, ruach, and neshama. However, it may still not be known that kind of person he really is, if the nefesh, ruach, and neshama are firmly established within him, are for the good or not. How then could it be known and clarified if it is good to draw closer and befriend such a person, or if it is better to distance from him? It is specifically through his anger that one can tell what kind of person he is, as taught by our sages in the Talmud, at Ravine 65b, that a person's character can be known through three things, one of which is anger. These three things are, in an alteration of the original language, kiso, koso, and kaaso, meaning one's pocket, cup, and anger. In other words, if one is honest in his financial dealings, his pocket, the way a person behaves while he's drinking wine, meaning his cup, and one's temper. So that's a note that if he guards his holy soul in a moment of anger, so that it is not uprooted from its place, in such a case a foreign god would have taken its place, then this is a person as he should be. This is a servant of God. This is the complete person. For even though he is sometimes stirred to anger, as is normal for most people, nonetheless his anger does not cause him to say disgraceful words or to act wickedly, for example, to destroy items in his rage, in which case he would be considered an idolater, God forbid. Rather, he is able to keep himself under control, even in anger, concealing, hiding, and conquering the anger within him, and therefore he is called the complete man. If this person did not guard his soul in this moment of anger, and instead did disgraceful things and uprooted the supernal holiness of his neshama from its place, and caused the sitra achra to dwell in its place, then certainly such a person is one who has rebelled against his creator, and it is forbidden to draw closer to him or to befriend him. For even if his anger has ceased, the neshama does not return to him. Rather, his body remains empty of holiness, and an impure spirit enters in its place of the neshama. And this is the person of whom it is said, in his wrath one tears his soul. The meaning of this is that he tears and uproots his soul in his angry rage and puts within himself a foreign god. About this it is written, withdraw from the man who has breath in his nostrils. The meaning of this is that he has torn up his holy neshama and made it impure through his angry rage. For after the neshama has left him, it has no rest, as it has no body in which to dwell. Therefore the klipa cleaves to it and makes it impure. This is the meaning of who has breath in his nostrils. Literally, whose neshama is in his wrath. And the neshama that he replaced with an impure spirit because of his wrath. For how little, or bameh, is he to be accounted? Read it bama as if with a kamatz, meaning just like a sacrificial altar, or bama, upon which idolatrous offerings were served. Such a person is considered. It means like a high place. Like that's the word that they use for high places, is bama. Okay, and anyone who befriends him, and anyone who even speaks to him, is likened to one who has literally become joined to idolatry. What is the reason? Because idolatry literally resides within that angry person. Furthermore, through his anger, he uprooted the supernal holiness, which is his neshama, from its place and replaced it with idolatry, which is a foreign god. What is written about a foreign god? Do not turn to idols, meaning that it is forbidden to look at an idol. Similarly, it is forbidden to look at the face of an angry person. With regard to the sages, their anger is positive only when it comes to matters of Torah. However, if the anger of Talmidei Chachamim concerns any other matters, even if they are not necessarily against the Torah, it is not the service of God and his will. This is because with all other sins, a person does not himself become idolatry like he does through anger. Therefore, the sin of anger is worse than all other sins, and it is forbidden to draw close to such a person, even if he appears to be a complete person. So, it continues, but I'll stop for this video. So, thanks for watching. I just want to make a note. I made it note in another video, but I want to make the same note here. That so Shavuot is coming up, and it's one day in the Torah. It's one day in the land of Israel, but in Galut we celebrate 2 days, 2 days of Yom Tov, and so some people have a hard time observing a second day, and I mean it's understandable, but one way to look at it, and some people they use the explanation that in Galut, in exile, there's not as much Kedusha, there's not as much holiness, so you celebrate a day, two holidays. But, another way to look at it, because sometimes one thing doesn't always speak to people, so if you're looking for another example of why you celebrate 2 days, think about it this way. When you have like a relative that you really love that comes to visit you, and so I'll get to this in a second. So in the Torah, Hashem, for Sukkot, Hashem says that he makes an additional holiday at the end, the 8-day festival, Shmini Atzeret, for us to be with him just a little longer. And so he did that for us. And in return, so, we have an additional holiday in Galut, an additional day to the holidays, to almost like he did Shemini Atzeret for us, and here we are. We're at Shavuot is coming up. We can observe an extra day of the holiday for him, for Hashem. So just as he does that for us, we can do this for him, and it's reciprocal almost. So you can think about it that way, that it's a reciprocal thing. It is a rabbinic decree, but there's also goodness to it. There's blessing in it. There's kedusha in it. There's a lot of reason to continue with it and maintain that, because ultimately there's a lot of forces in the world that want to break the tradition of Judaism. They want to break down Judaism, whether it was like the Frankists in the past, or Christianity even way before that, where Christianity was just absolutely intent on destroying the traditions of Judaism and breaking everything, whether it be the Tanakh and reinterpreting things, or breaking, like all kinds of things, just breaking families and breaking the trust in the leadership. So ultimately, these types of things where we continue in these traditions will help bring Geula, the final redemption. And you can just look at it that way. You just want to spend an extra day with Hashem. Sometimes there's things that can feel almost a little burdensome whenever you have a lot of holidays stacked up together. We don't, in this case, we have like Shabbat, and then we have, a little bit of off time, and then we got Shavuot. But still, it's a good time. So Shavuot Tov, have a great week, and prepare for Shavuot, and it'll be a lot of fun. If you can, stay up all night to learn Torah. It was awesome last year. We got through the whole Tikkun. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching.